Kia ora. Severe weather heading our way for the start of next week, thanks to Tropical Cyclone Gita, which is set to continue southwards and turn towards New Zealand as we go in towards Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, ahead of that, we've also got some severe weather down in Fjordland. This next feature, you can see just pushing up through there. That's going to bring with it some heavy rainfall through Fjordland, through the rest of today and through in towards those early parts of Monday. But for many of us, it's a case of keeping an eye up towards the north as Tropical Cyclone Gita continues to sink southwards. Now, as it sinks southwards, it will weaken to a Category 2, but that's still an incredibly large system, and it is likely to stay very deep and very intense as it runs towards us as well. By the time it gets to around about here through the Tasman Sea, it should start to transition and turn into a rather large but very intense and severe area of low pressure. But that is something we're going to keep a very close eye on as we head through the next couple of days. Now, you can find the latest track maps on this system right the way across on towards the NZMetService website. You can find all of that and also information about the severe weather warnings and watches on there. But you can see from this track map, we are expecting it to run across those northern parts of the Southland, across central New Zealand, as we head through Tuesday and through towards the early part of Wednesday morning. And now, because of that, we have some severe weather watches already in place for the system. So let's take a look at that wet weather. Now, as we go through daytime, you can see up in the north there's Tropical Cyclone Gita. As it comes towards us in the early part of Tuesday morning, it's likely to transition into an area of low pressure. But you can tell just by the sheer amount of isobars on there, it's still a very active system. Central pressures are likely to be around about 970 hectopascals. And it's got plenty of wet weather with it. Heavy rainfall for many parts of the South Island and across those lower parts of the North Island as well. So watches are in place for many spots, particularly for the likes of, say, Nelson, and as that rain feeds back in towards parts of Marlborough and Canterbury as well. In fact, we've got plenty of severe weather watches in place as we head through Tuesday and Wednesday. And you can see on the accumulation charts why we've got them. There's that wet weather on Fjordland as we go through Sunday, but the majority of the rain comes through with Gita as we head through and towards Tuesday and through to Wednesday. And then you can see those pink colours showing the heaviest rainfall. Nelson area, up towards the likes of Wellington, up towards the Kapiti Coast, Horowhenua, down in towards Marlborough, Canterbury, even across in towards Westland as well. So we have got plenty of watches already in place, particularly as we go through Tuesday and on in towards Wednesday. So that's from those early parts of Tuesday in places like northern Marlborough, Nelson and Buller, particularly for the Nelson region itself, and of course also towards the Kapiti Coast, Wellington, and down on towards the eastern side of the South Island as well, particularly places like the Kaikoura Coast, those inland parts of Canterbury, and also the ranges of Westland as well, and even down towards North Otago. But it's not just the wet weather we've got to watch out for, we've also got to watch out for that wind as well. And you can see those red arrows showing the strongest winds wrapping around that central part of the system. Strong northeasterly winds in towards, like I say, Taranaki, Taihape and Whanganui, and then on the back edge of that, back into southeasterlies for the likes of Wellington, crossing towards parts of Canterbury, down that western coast. Could be a windy few days for you guys through there as well. So we have got watches in store for you as well. Plenty of those to come across those central parts of the country and across on towards the top of the South Island as well. Particularly, like I say, down towards that western coast for Wellington, also up in towards Marlborough as well. Keep an eye on those winds as we head through Tuesday and Wednesday. Pretty blustery. The direction of those gales will be dependent on where the path of that system goes, but we are looking at severe gales in many spots. And elsewhere, although you might have the watches and warnings out, it will be a fairly windy few days to come. And of course, that wind is helping to lift and generate a fair bit of swell. And as that comes towards us, the combination of those higher swells plus that lower atmospheric pressure and some high tides could lead to some coastal inundation as well, particularly towards areas like Nelson once again, and down towards that western coast. So keep an eye on all of those watches and warnings. You can find all that information plus the information about Tropical Cyclone Gita on the NZMetService website. That's metservice.com.